Our in-depth coverage of the death of Aaron Hernandez continues now. A Massachusetts judge has ordered a district attorney to hand over copies of 3 suicide notes by the time he's buried.
An attorney for Hernandez's fiance made the request this morning, just hours before the funeral. Eyewitness News reporter Steph Machado's live in New Bedford now with more on today's ruling. Steph.
The Worcester County DA's office says they have now turned over those 3 notes to the Hernandez family. The DA is declining to release them publicly as the investigation into Hernandez's death continues. Hours before his funeral, the attorney for Aaron Hernandez's fiancee, Cheyenne Jenkins Hernandez, and his estate successfully obtaining 3 notes Hernandez wrote in prison before state officials say he killed himself last week. Bristol County Superior Court Justice Thomas McGuire ordering the Worcester County District Attorney to, quote, produce copies of any suicide or other notes, if any, that appear to have been authored by Aaron Hernandez in connection with his death. It comes after McGuire's order on Friday that evidence from the prison, including those notes, be preserved.
I would say some of them are suicide notes.
Massachusetts Secretary of Public Safety Daniel Bennett personally attended the hearing. His office oversees the state police, Department of Corrections, and medical examiner's office, all involved in investigating Hernandez's death. He asked the judge to allow the DA to redact any portions of the notes that he believes might hinder the investigation. The judge agreed.
I know that in reviewing the notes just a few minutes ago, they're not going to affect the investigation.
Outside court, Bennett declined to say to whom the notes were written or whether all 3 were addressed to family members. He did say he had no doubts about the manner in which Hernandez died.
I'm confident that it was a suicide.
And I did reach out to the attorney for the Hernandez family to see if he wants to comment on those notes they have now received, but have not yet heard back. Now, coming up new at 6, what that Secretary of Public Safety has to say about the ongoing investigation into Hernandez's death. Live in New Bedford with the Mobile Newsroom, I'm Steph Machado, Eyewitness News.
Meanwhile, tonight, the head of Massachusetts Public Safety Department is giving an update on the state's investigation into Hernandez's death. And he was in court earlier today when a judge granted the request by Hernandez's fiancee to release the notes found in his jail cell to his family. Eyewitness News reporter Steph Machado continues our in-depth coverage now, live in New Bedford.
And that judge ordered those notes handed over to the Hernandez family just hours before Aaron Hernandez's funeral. I'm told they now have those notes, but the DA says they will not be released publicly. Aaron Hernandez's family now has the handwritten notes he penned in prison before state officials say he killed himself last week.
I would say some of them are suicide notes.
Massachusetts Secretary of Public Safety Daniel Bennett personally attended a hearing in New Bedford in which a judge ordered the notes be released to the family. He declined to comment on to whom the notes were addressed or what is in them.
I know that in reviewing the notes just a few minutes ago, they're not going to affect the investigation.
Bennett says he's sure that Hernandez killed himself.
I've worked in the criminal law for 23 years, and I've prosecuted and defended homicides for 15 years. I'm confident that it was a suicide.
But said there is still a ways to go in the investigation.
It doesn't end when the medical examiner makes a determination. They can go on for months and months and months.
He says part of that will include interviewing 96 inmates that were residing in the wing of the Sousa Baranowski prison where Hernandez ended his life.
It's open to question how many of those 96 inmates are going to talk to law enforcement officials, but you still have to make an attempt to go out there and speak to all 96.
And no timeline has been released on when that investigation will end. Now, I also reached out to the attorney for the Hernandez family to see if they want to comment now that they have received those suicide notes. I have not yet heard back. Live in New Bedford with the Mobile Newsroom, I'm Steph Machado, Eyewitness News.
And you can count on Eyewitness News for continuing coverage of the death of Aaron Hernandez on air and online at WPRI.com.